Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Data Protection Working Group biweekly meeting. This is Wednesday, July 10th. And as a reminder, this meeting is recorded and I think Xing posted them on YouTube. I'm not sure. But I'll be sharing the recording with her nonetheless. Xing is on vacation today, so I'm stepping in. If you have any agenda items other than the two already proposed, please add them to the agenda doc. But if not, we'll start with the first agenda, the CBT KEP PR.
Yeah,
Carl,
so
do you want to speak to this one?
just a little. So last week the CSI version was updated to version 10, which now includes the snapshot metadata service. There's a cascade fallout from that where all I think the secondary repos which have test utils, etc., are now all being bumped up. So that's good because we're waiting on use of some of the CSI test repos. Yeah, that's all I had. We are, making progress as much as we can on the snapshot metadata sidecar. Yeah, that's where we are right now.
Okay, so we have the CSI spec released. I remember that. I was involved with that. The KEP is merged.
Mhm.
That's good. So at this point, it's just a matter of propagating the new CSI release into all the repos and getting the code.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what,
We have developed the sidecar, but the repos on which we are dependent on, right, for CSI, all the symbols, etc., they are being updated as far as I can see.
okay, but I mean, remind me what state the code was in. Like, was this already working with like an alpha version of the
No, it's not an
CS?
alpha. We had a prototype.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so essentially we'll pull the prototype in. The difference between this and the prototype is we introduced the a Kubernetes version of the spec, right? So that's already the definitions are in. So we have to tweak the prototype code to look like that, and then fill up the rest of the stuff around it.
All right, yeah. It's that filling up the rest of the stuff around it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
how is that
So,
like a lot of work or is that pretty easy?
um, Well, some of the stuff is a learning curve for us, right? Especially getting all the release tools in. We haven't done that yet. Some people are on vacation. And then we have to, work on process for all these things. For example, I'm not sure whether we have to extend the CSI driver test utilities so that, CSI driver developer will have the right framework on which to test their code, things like that. So we're learning as we
Okay,
go.
yeah. So you're reminding me that we're creating a new Git repo for this, so we have to go through the process of creating the Git repo, setting up Prow, and setting up tests and setting up release tools and all, yeah, all that rigmarole.
Yeah.
So you are getting help on those items from someone?
Yeah, I think right now we have Prasad, myself, and Daniel who are working on this. We're making
No, I mean,
progress.
are you getting help from someone who's done this GitHub work before?
Um, we have the repo set up, right?
Yeah.
And we have Xing gave us a contact to reach out, to the people who set it up when we need help. But I think Xing's our main point of contact for when we need help. We reach out to her.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say like I had to create new repos a couple years back, and I don't know how much has changed since then. But it was not a simple process, unfortunately, and that argues for eventually merging things back into a mono repo. But as we discussed, yeah, that's there's reasons that can't happen yet. So
Right.
you're on the right path. Um, all right. Um, did you get accepted to all the orgs you needed to be part of?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Um, anyone else have any comments or questions about the CBT feature? Sounds like the progress is good. We're on track. Oh, just regarding when it might ship. So the 131 release planning is underway, it looks like. Oh no, we're in the middle of the 131 release. Code freezes yesterday. Were we trying to deliver this as part of 131?
Shin was, I think we are signed up kind of to do it, but I seriously doubt that it'll happen.
Okay.
So,
well, so this code freeze is for the most part Kubernetes. So if we're doing out of tree work, like if it can get done, I guess in the remainder of the month before the Kubernetes 131 release, we could still maybe do some announcing around alpha support of this, because if it's entirely out of tree, then
yeah. So I can't predict at this point because there's a lot of external dependencies, and this is summer, so vacation
yeah
and stuff. So
okay. Just if we wanted to do like blogs or any kind of Kubernetes associated publicity, like there's people we need to get in touch with before we get to the end of the release, so that they know.
We've created placeholder PRs for the blog.
Okay, cool.
But again, that all depends on us having stuff there in the
Okay.
so we can
well I hope it works out.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other topic on the agenda was moving volumes group snapshot to beta. I think these updates are from Xing. It's not so the metrics are done. EDE tests are work in progress. Unit tests are work in progress. Changing the API version to beta is in progress. There's a KEP to move the feature to beta. I don't know what that KEP is and whether it's part of 131 or not. I see. Yeah, right. We discussed this before. So part of moving this feature to beta would involve getting another vendor that's not Red Hat to implement this feature, as a sort of a proof point that we have two different implementations from two different vendors that both work. Is there anyone who's decided to go ahead and do an implementation of volume group snapshot? Trey, you're representing NetApp, right?
Yeah, I don't know of any efforts towards this yet at NetApp.
I mean, are you in a position to push this at NetApp? Can you make the argument that hey, this might not move forward anytime soon unless NetApp lifts a finger to at least prototype it and show that it works?
Yeah, I can at least check with some people on if they've looked into it yet. I'm not on the thread directly, but yeah, I can follow up on that.
When I was at NetApp, I remember the way this went was that NetApp didn't want to officially support anything that wasn't already beta, but doing a proof of concept, if you can find the time, is totally fine and also quite valuable, right? Because if there are any aspects of the current design that don't work for NetApp, better to find that out and change them before it moves to beta. So it's in NetApp's interest to at least kick the tires on the design and see, like, could this work for NetApp, and then raise a flag if there's any issues. So I would encourage you to try to, I don't know, get some time to at least do the POC, if you're willing.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, and I'll check with the team and see if we can make some time for that. Sounds good.
And Trey, this is Mark Lavi. If you want me to talk to product management, that's one of the things that we're doing with other colleagues and storage providers, and I'm happy to broker that discussion as well if that's of any help.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I'll reach out if we need help trying to prioritize that. Yep.
Sure. I'll look for you on Kubernetes and I can connect.
Mark, I don't know if we've met. Are you also from NetApp?
No, I'm from Caston and V.
Okay.
So we're discussing it with AWS colleagues, Red Hat colleagues, IBM, Ceph colleagues, and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way this feature is defined, I actually like it, and I think there's some value. I used to be more sour on group snapshots, but I've come around and see there's a significant upside. And I happen to know that NetApp has a really good implementation of group snapshots in ONTAP, so it would be really easy.
Oh, I
Yeah, I would
apologize.
encourage
I
it.
was thinking that it was all for CBT. My mistake. But
No, I mean CBT is also interesting for different reasons, but no, yeah, we were talking about the group snapshots.
I apologize. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on volume group snapshots? Does anyone else have any other topics they wanted to discuss today? I don't see any updates to the agenda. If not, we can wrap up the meeting and give you all 45 minutes back. It's going once.
One quick thing I'll mention. I was not able to join the last meeting, but I saw there was a note in there about snapshot revert. And I just wanted that we do actually have an implementation of that in Trident. We have a CR that will revert a volume to the state from a previous snapshot.
Okay, that's good to know. Oh man, I can't just edit the agenda doc directly. Oh well. Snapshot revert. NetApp has a proprietary version of this. Does that sound accurate?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So the discussion last or 2 weeks ago was the problem with a feature like this at the Kubernetes layer is that not every vendor can support it in the same way. Like when we've done versions of snapshot revert before, like I know that NetApp in particular has this restriction where if you revert this to a snapshot, you have to delete all the snapshots that are later than that snapshot. And that's like a really weird semantic that's hard to express like through the Kubernetes API where it's a declarative API. And the other argument against this feature is that there's really no use case that anyone has brought forward for that needs revert snapshot that can't also be implemented with the existing clone from snapshot feature. So if NetApp is aware of like a customer requirement where somehow create volume from snapshot is not adequate for like a particular use case, we would encourage either a user or NetApp to bring forward that that argument because as it stands, I think we believe that the existing Kubernetes API is fine, and while we know that underlying systems can do things like revert, exposing that through Kubernetes is a really dicey proposition because it just makes the API more complicated for no obvious benefit. So we're currently not in favor of implementing snapshot revert, but we're always open to changing our mind if the right argument's made.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the use case we were going for is that it's just it's simpler than deleting the PVC you have already and then creating a new clone from the previous snapshot. But I agree on the semantics being strange about the newer snapshots existing. Our implementation just fails if you attempt it and newer snapshots exist.
Right.
Yeah, I see.
Yes. So trying to design a general purpose Kubernetes API that makes sense, it would be hard because you can't just have certain storage systems that fail if a newer snapshot exists. How do you explain that to an end user? It's very weird. So my preference is that we keep the API simple the way it is, but maybe there's a world where we figure out a way to do snapshot revert if there's enough value. All right. Anything else on snapshot revert? Any other questions or comments? Yeah, that's a good thing to remind people of. Boy, my agenda doc updates are a mess because of the way Google Docs handles anonymous updates. But Xing will have to deal with that. Any other topics before we end? All right. We're done. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.